Welcome back to part 2 of our live training session here with our 2018 Yukon Denali that's been fitted with a Magnuson supercharger kit. Now in the last tutorial we built our base calibration file. This tutorial we're going to get our engine fired up and running, we're going to dial in our idle control and our part throttle cruise conditions. We have a lot of things to cover here. Let's jump in so we can check out how to do this. Welcome back to our live training session here with our 2018 Yukon Denali. Now this tutorial we're going to be uploading the file that we built in our last tutorial to the engine control module and the transmission control module to get it to fire up and run. We're going to go through setting up the idle control, making sure that all looks good, and then we're also going to go through and dialing in our airflow model for part throttle cruise driving. That's going to be calibrating both the mass airflow and the virtual volumetric efficiency, so our airflow model is accurate and our torque will be tracking accurately at idle and part throttle conditions. So we probably don't have a whole lot to really change and go after at idle conditions, simply because this has a stock cam and really nothing should be really drastically thrown off at idle or even part throttle. Now once you introduce a cam to the engine, things are really thrown out of whack. We have a great live training example with a ZL1 with a cam, so you can go check that out if you're looking for how to set up a cam, dialing in the idle and part throttle. A little bit more work is going to be involved with that. This is a little bit more simplistic, again, mainly because we have that stock cam still in the engine. The engine's all stock. Let's take a look here at uploading our file first, and then we'll go through the scanner, making sure that's all in order and it's going to be set up based on the vehicle and based on the tables that we've built in our calibration file here. We'll fire it up, then we'll go after doing this calibration process. It's pretty straightforward. The next tutorial we'll be jumping into wide open throttle tuning, which is also pretty straightforward. And then the last tutorial, we'll take a look at doing a flex fuel based tune, and that is also pretty straightforward. So everything here should be pretty simple, and we should find that things fall in line pretty easily. The big thing that really throws everything off on a Gen 5 is going to be a cam, especially if it's pretty aggressive. Lots more calibration work to do. But let's jump in and take a look. So what I need to do here is load the file that I have open on my screen right now, and I've relabeled and renamed the file as airflow tuning. I've saved it as a new name so that I separated the base calibration file we've built in the last tutorial from where we're going to start making changes in this tutorial. I always like to give myself a couple different file names during the calibration process so I can go forward or backwards when I'm doing the tuning. If I find that something isn't right, I'll throw an older file in. So it gives me the ability to, again, kind of move around and have different portions of the calibration process saved. So I've saved this as airflow tuning, and we'll be making all of our save changes to this file name. What we need to do right now is key on the vehicle and upload the file to the vehicle. Now we're going to be flashing both the engine control module and the transmission control module. I haven't made any changes to the transmission control module programming. And that was a stock equivalent file supplied from HP Tuner's server, so everything should run here properly on the transmission. What we're going to do here is go up to the top and do right vehicle. Now you want to make sure that the engine is off, so we would be key on engine off status in order to do the right process. I'm going to go here on the dash and click the start stop button. Make sure that's clicked. We can hear the dash is chiming right now. The vehicle's chiming here, and we're powered on. Now one thing I can mention as you're flashing this, in this particular vehicle, it goes into a saving mode, a power saving mode, where it wants to shut things down. That's obviously not ideal during a flash, so I like to play with the button controls here on the steering wheel. It seems to keep the car awake when I'm trying to do the flash. You may not run into this, but just wanted to mention that that is a kind of a fix, basic simple fix to keep the vehicle running so that it thinks that we're still active in the car and it doesn't try to go into a power shutdown mode and then interrupt that flash sequence. So let me go ahead and try this real quick here. I'm going to go and do a right. Now it's going to probably prompt me up to go in and credit the transmission control module. I've already credited the engine control module ahead of time, but I need to go in and do the transmission control module now. So I'm going to go here to show license options. And it's going to go and say that in order to license this transmission control module, we'll go here and we have to apply 4 credits. I happen to have 4 credits on my cable, so I'm all ready to go to flash this. Now, if you're going in, you're doing your tuning on your vehicle, and you haven't licensed it yet, you will have to apply the credits, which you'll have to go in and go to hptuners.com and add them to your cable if you don't have enough. And then you'll have to go up here to the top under help and then resync interface. And that's going to allow it to take the credits you've purchased online and bring them to your cable. It'll do that virtually from their server. Again, I've already done all of that after I've purchased the credits from HP Tuner's website. So I'm going to go here to click OK. And now, yes, do you want to go ahead and do this? I'll say yes. I'm going to go ahead and apply the credits. I need to license that transmission control module. So we're going to do a right calibration on both engine control module and transmission control module. So we'll click right here. And again, while it's doing the right process, we don't want it to power down. So I'm going to keep going in here onto the buttons on the steering wheel and just pushing every so often on the controls for the navigation screen on the actual dash, being able to just make sure that it thinks that I'm still active in the car so it doesn't go into a shutdown mode. So we can see here this is only going to take here about 30 seconds for the engine control module to flash. I don't know how long the transmission control module is going to take. It should be a similar amount of time, roughly a minute, but we'll see. It might be a little bit longer. We'll just be patient while it completes this flash here. So what I'm going to do is just let it flash, and we'll continue on as soon as the flash is actually going to complete it, and then we'll go through our scanner and talk about what we need to set up there, because there are probably some discrepancies and deviations in our histograms that we need to go in and change. So I will be back here in just a minute once the flash has been completed. All right, so we can see now the flash has been completed. It took about 3-4 minutes for that to complete the whole entire process. I'm going to click close right now, and what I'm going to do is actually power off the engine control module in the vehicle completely here. I find that we have to do a power cycle before you fire it up on some of the Gen 5s, and this vehicle is going to have that exact same problem. So if I want to go ahead and actually fire it off now, if I key on and hit the brake, it'll actually fire off. Now, before we do that, we're going to go over and make sure our scanner is set up correctly with our histograms, making sure that our axes, things like P ratio, tracking what's going on for the virtual VE table or spark air mass, are going to be indexed correctly, because we have changed things. We've changed the breakpoint scaling in our last tutorial, just so that this naturally aspirated calibration file could see boost safely. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we need to do and what we need to take a look at. So first things first, let's jump here into our scanner. Now what I have open here and what I'm working with in this...
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.